Yeah. Boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere, to you, the individual, as part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Track Highlights here on Talk Radio version of the OMSR. I am, and always have been, your brief but concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Always do a little show like this and like that, let you know the clip order coming up, and the whys to wherefores, to get a significantly longer highlights reel that way, plus the quickie sport rant of the segment. Talking briefly and concisely about the respective 8A games in the great state of Alabama. A little brief review of how it went down. And because it was so brief, I figured I'd make like a little smorgasbord to make it worth my while, your while. A little bit of fun at Jon Gruden's camp, some of the best quarterbacks, or big name quarterbacks of last year prior to the draft. And then a nasty hit in hockey. And it's par for the course. It is, considered a hit in hockey. I'm trying to convey and get the sense across to you, the audience, my subs, whomever listens. Let's get back to the idea of what it really is in the context of football. Tackle football, not hits. But this one you'll see is like one of the nastiest in a while. Certainly for a playoff game. Brutal. Quickie Sport Rant's going to be about, hopefully this Sims guy, maybe if he's related, I suspect so, to Philip, whatever the case may be, has a better go-around than Philip did in his ignominious finish vis-a-vis Alabama, with Lane Kiffin there as the new OC. Okay, roll clips.
Many around the world will celebrate Easter Sunday tomorrow. It is something of a national holiday today in the state of Alabama. Spring football day for both the Tide and Tigers, with just 224 shopping days, JB, till the big one.
I'm sure all the calendars in the state have November 29th circled in big red marker. The Iron Bowl will take place that last Saturday of November in Tuscaloosa. Fans got a preview today of what the season has ahead in store for both teams.
Indeed, some storylines for Auburn coming off a 12-2 season. Senior QB Nick Marshall is back. Led the Tigers to the title game in his first season as a starter. Auburn trying to replace some big names bound for the NFL, though, including tackle Greg Robinson, projected to go number 2 in Mel Kiper's latest mock draft, plus pass rusher Dee Ford, projected as an early second-rounder, and then maybe the best-known name from last year's team, running back Trey Mason. Hey, Lost Soul fans know him well. They got to replace his 1,816 rushing yards from a season ago. So here we go. Nick Marshall, only the 4th SEC quarterback to rush and throw for more than 1,000 yards in a season. Trying to do it with his arm today, finding DePeel Williams in the corner of the end zone. Nice-looking fade route. Second quarter, Marshall chucks it up to Sammy Coates this time. And the snare drum goes wild in the background. Marshall 13 of 22, 236 through the air, and 4 touchdowns. They got to replace Trey Mason. Who's going to do it? Cameron Artis Payne, stating his case, eluding defenders, tiptoeing inside and outside. He currently has the starting job, but Corey Grant is going to get a look as well. Guess when you run a 4.02.40, you're going to get a look from anybody. Let's count. Zoop, gone. All the way for a touchdown. Blue team wins big. What was going on with the white team? 58-3, the final.
Over in Tuscaloosa, the Tide also gearing up. They'll have to replace quarterback A.J. McCarron, whose 36 wins are the most in school history. Jacob Coker, the Florida State transfer, who is assumed to have the upper hand, is not yet on campus. And how will the Bama offense look under new coordinator Lane Kiffin? He'll try to boost a unit that was 6th in total offense in the SEC last season. And the Tide was 4th in the FBS in points allowed last year, but they'll look to bounce back after watching their final 2 opponents last season score a total of 79 points. So the annual scrimmage known as A-Day in Tuscaloosa. And again, trying to replace A.J. McCarron. Second quarter scoreless. Crimson team 3rd and 6th. Blake Sims, incomplete up the middle. So neither team would actually score in the first half. Third quarter, still no score. Sims picked off by TJ Petway for the pick 6. The white team gets on the board first, 7-0. And new offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin not happy with Sims. Fourth quarter, Crimson team down 10. Sims finding Chris Black. Black breaking a couple of tackles and scores the touchdown. But in the end, the white team will go on to win 17-13.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what they call you, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Kill, kill, kill.
Yes, sir.
I bet you don't have one of those.
No, sir. No, sir.
That's special.
Yes, sir.
What are you saying right here?
It was a little high. Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pick a side play for you.
Yes, sir.
Double slant for double zone.
Yes, sir.
Boy, I love you for that. You're my kind of guy.
The man runs a tight ship. There is no s'mores making at Camp Gruden, no bonfires or quilting, and the only scary stories told are honest evaluations of game tape. 9 quarterbacks have gone through the pre-draft ritual, with every chucker getting every bit of Chucky, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the downright unusual. Here now the best of Gruden's QB camp.
I want to wish you a happy birthday, man.
Yeah.
23 years old.
Yes, sir.
You're spending your birthday with me?
Absolutely.
I got you 6 new Expo grease pens and an eraser.
I appreciate that.
I got you a Jimmy Garoppolo Gruden's
Really?
QB Camp t-shirt. I just got to make sure I spelled that right. Now, I'm worried about your durability. Ooh, that's a good shot. Remember this one?
I do. My jaw remembers that one.
You're Mr. Anonymous. Not a lot of people know who you are. No one even knew how to say Roethlisberger. Try saying Blake Bortles 5 times fast, can you?
Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles,
Yeah.
Blake Bortles.
Here's a note for you. Don't throw any back shoulder fades of fullbacks.
No.
Isn't it true that Bostic almost killed you?
Oh, yes, sir. Hardest hit I've ever felt.
You still have a scar from this?
Still have the scar right
Where?
under my chin.
Let me see.
Right here.
What is that little piece of paper you have there? Is that grocery shopping list or what? I've never seen this. Most quarterbacks don't do this. You look like Marshawn Lynch here.
Well, I'm always going to fight for the extra inch, so I'm going to be smart.
Chick-fil-A Bowl. You guys are getting kicked in this game. I went to bed. What was this scene here?
You just look at everybody's face. They're all looking for somebody to pull these guys together.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of sheep just wandering around.
Everybody's going to compare you to your brother.
Right.
Are you better than them?
You know,
If you're both on the board.
Yeah.
You're both on the board. Who do you take?
yeah, I'm taking me.
What about this quarterback? Does his name come up down there at Eastern?
Yeah, Mr. Romo.
What do you think of all these people comparing you to him because of the school?
I mean, I'm glad to carry the comparison with me.
Huh?
Heck of a quarterback.
Are you wearing that glove because you either like Michael Jackson or your left hand is hurt?
Yes, sir.
Which is it? Both?
It was hurt, yes, sir.
Now, Barry, you had the Bruins and Blackhawks playing for the Cup. Do you want to change that at all?
I'll let you know tomorrow after the Bruins play. Look, Chicago last year was down 3-1 to Detroit Red Wings. They came back and won that series. They're going home to Chicago. 2 devastating losses by St. Louis. Joe Quenneville's got to do a little bit of Tony Robbins on their heads right now to get them thinking they can win this series. But Chicago can easily win the 2 games at home, make this a best of 3. But these are devastating losses by the Chicago Blackhawks.
Let's dive in a little bit more. What stood out to you in this game the most?
Well, obviously the penalty killing by St. Louis early in this game. Chicago had 3 power plays in the first period, and they didn't score on any of them. St. Louis was great. Look at that hunt up the ice, not giving any of these Chicago players time. Chicago's got you can put 5 of the most talented offensive players in the world on the ice for Chicago Blackhawks. Their power play should be better than this. When you have 3 power plays in the first period, if you're the Chicago Blackhawks, you should score at least 1 of them and then take the lead. They weren't able to do that. So early in this game, the reason this game was being beaten by the St. Louis Blues was the penalty killing of the St. Louis Blues. Awesome all game long. Awesome in the first period when the game was on the line. And that's something Chicago's got to change. Chicago needs a good power play because St. Louis takes a lot of bad penalties. Tonight, the power play of the Chicago Blackhawks let them down big time.
Let's go back to that Bacchus hit that you were talking about, just how big of a momentum changer that was in this game.
It won the game for St. Louis. Maybe it'll win the series for St. Louis. But what happened is it was 3-2 for Chicago at the time. And it's hard to let up on Backus because Backus hits everything that moves. He's a hated man for the St. Louis Blues. But Seabrook has to let up there. He can't do this. The puck wasn't near Backus, so it's interference. He makes contact with the head right there, shoulder to the head. You can't do that in the NHL, obviously. And he left his feet. So the NHL will look at this. There's a 5-minute major. The NHL will evaluate it. I'll be very surprised if Seabrook isn't suspended for 1 or 2 games. So not only that, you put them on a power play. They score a power play goal to tie the game and obviously end up winning in overtime. So that's the first whammo. But the second whammo is Seabrook might be gone for 2 games, and he's arguably Chicago's second-best defenseman. So you're going home 2 games down, probably without your second-best defenseman in the lineup for 1 or 2 games. This is going to be a tough mental hill for Chicago Blackhawks to climb, boy. But you can't do that. That is an area where Seabrook has to let up. No matter how much he wants to drill Backus, Backus is a hated guy. I want to hit him. I want to hit him. I want to hit him. You can't hit him. You got to let up on him. You can't drill him in that area. If he lets Backus go up the wall, no harm done. Chicago wins this game. They're going back 1-1 against St. Louis. That was a bad
All right. So some good stuff there. Quickie sport rant of the segment. I did a show between the end of the Iron Bowl to the Sugar Bowl, how Nick Saban was bringing in Lane Kiffin to do what? To ostensibly be a consultant for the offense? And I just found out the hard way by doing this show that he is the offensive coordinator now. Alright, so let's hope that Blake Sims has a better experience than, I'm presuming, his older brother Philip, who transferred. Guess he just didn't like waiting perpetually behind A.J. McCarron to Virginia. That didn't go so well. Finishes out at like a Division II school. He was much heralded coming in. Alright, so Lane Kiffin, the way he left USC, not so great, but the offense was coming along through the years. And quarterback-wise, he'll probably do a decent job there. It's hard for me to kind of say that because he didn't make a whole lot of friends out here in SoCal. Just got that, he's not ready to be a head coach yet, for sure. That was definitely handed to him too soon. He's got to work on his mannerism. And yes, I would have liked to have covered these spring games in full, but there are these entities running around on YouTube, especially with regard to the Southeast Conference, who abuse the third-party content ID system. You know, trying to claim it's theirs on behalf of the conference because they've built a channel for the conference, when in fact, it's all about their channel that has nothing to do with the conference. And so this year I just thought, I'm not going to go through third-party content ID aggravation on account of a spring game, so I'm sorry. And finally, it looks like Auburn screws along just like last year, but you'd think they're D, knowing this offense, 53-7? Wow, that's out of whack for sure for a spring scrimmage. All right, all the video highlights courtesy to ESPN and the respective universities. Everything else to the OMSR. That's it. Thanks for watching those silly DUIs while you're out there. We are later out here.